Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to the second week of February. This week we are moving toward our sources. We're reviewing our sources, and you're going to be submitting your memo about manager interviews. So if you haven't already started working on that, now is the time. So you'll be submitting those manager ID interviews in a memo form. We talked about that in last week's video. So if you're interested in how that memo is structured and what kind of information it contains, that information is of course in the assignment prompt, but it's also in last week's video as well. This week we're going to be focusing on the review of your sources, which is of course going to be marvelous fun, as all of our assignments are. So using the information from your annotated bibliography that you turned in last night before midnight, so kudos, way to be awesome, you're going to write a review of your sources. And this is also oftentimes called a lit review or a literature review. It's an essential part of most academic writing, as well as lots of professional styles of writing. So really good to get this under our belts as we move forward through the class. There's lots of good information about this style of writing in your APA style manual, and I do have a template for you because those are always nice to get us started. So do make sure to download that, check it out. Make sure you've got that as your fundamental structure when completing this assignment. So do make sure, little alerts, silly thing. Do make sure as you're doing this, you're including a overview of current management theory. You've got your review of sources. This is going to be several paragraphs long, and I've got a nicely numerical list for you to make sure that you've got everything you need. As well as reminders to cite your sources. And all citations, of course, need to be in APA style. So make sure you're following this particular structure here. Do delete the highlighted part. That doesn't need to stay, right? Not necessary. And you can also delete the little notes about how many paragraphs need to be places. So you will keep your subheadings, but delete these little annotations. Those are just to help you as you're structuring your document. We go back to this review of sources. You're building this from your annotated bibliography, so the research should be done already. And you're going to be talking about one important theoretical model, summarizing the important concepts about that model, and we've gotten practice with theoretical models in the past weeks. I should have the feedback and grading on those theoretical model assignments that you completed. That should be done by Monday. So I will have that feedback to you. Wait, today's Monday. By Wednesday. I'm working on it today, but I can't promise it'll be done today because, I have 2 toddlers who are insane. So Wednesday at the latest, you will have that feedback. What compelling research findings did you find? What are some trends you're noticing? What are people talking about? What's the next big thing? That kind of stuff. What are some examples of successes and failures? It's good to acknowledge the successes, absolutely, but it's equally important to acknowledge the failures to show that you've got a really well-rounded approach and you're not exhibiting situational bias as you're looking at data. We also want to look at new or innovative techniques and approaches. What are people trying out? What's the cool thing? What are all the kids talking about? And do any research findings conflict? Which sources are more reliable? A lot of the reliability comes from who is publishing the materials. So if you're finding your sources through the EBSCO Discovery Service, through our CBC online databases, those are going to be much more reliable sources traditionally than things you might be finding through just a Google search or on Wikipedia, that kind of stuff. So look at who's publishing, look at what kind of process they had to go through to be published. Was it peer reviewed, which means, other experts in the field looked at it and said these ideas are valid? Or was it a pre-peer review print, something that just one editor looked at? So you want to see what's making a source reliable, and then mention any other key findings. This is going to be a 50-point assignment worth spending some time on. So just follow that outline template. Work with the sources that you've got in your annotated bibliography. We're looking for 2 or more pages to compile, summarize, and synthesize the information from all 10 sources. So as always, if you have any questions, reach out, but that's going to be our major project for the week, is that review of sources to make sure that we've got the skills needed, not only to research, but then to look at the research that we've done, make sure that it's valid and reliable, credible kind of work, and that it will indeed benefit our projects in the long run. So that's this week. Fun things headed our way. If you have any questions, as always, reach out. I'm here to help. Enjoy the week, guys.